Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamar 4 here once again.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar 4 here once again. Let me tell y'all, I have not watched a season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. It's been at least 2 years. At least 2 years, because I don't know. I think when Jocelyn initially left, that's when I was just like, I'm not here for it. And then I just kind of gave it a break. I started watching like Miami and Hollywood again, and then those kind of went, ugh. So I'm giving Love and Hip Hop Atlanta another try, you guys. And from what I've seen through the super trailer, through this first episode, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm going to see if I'm going to finish this season. Now, if it gets a little slow, there may be weeks where there may not be a review. So I'm going to say this from the beginning, only if the episode gives me something that I feel like I can maybe talk about or can lead to it. Just, did y'all see him? Hold on. So if the episode doesn't really give me something I can really talk about or can really expound upon or give some sort of viewpoint on, then I may just have to skip it that week and come back the next week, okay? Because I don't want to commit to just reviewing something if there's nothing really to review or nothing that I really want to talk about. So just want to give you guys a heads up on that. So let's go ahead and get into the episode. So the episode starts off with Jock, of all people, you know, talking about how he's become this family man, talking about how he's, you know, everybody else is sort of living and making the right decisions, and everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, growing as men, being more mature, all this shit. And I'm like, we gonna see how long this lasts, child. Out of all the things that he said about everybody in the cast, some of them I'm like, okay, great. The fact that Kirk and Rashida are still together, like married and in love, after all of that, after the cabin, after the baby, after all of it, and we still, I mean, it is till death do us part. I guess that's death do us part, y'all, but I just knew it could never be me. So the first thing that we get is Eva's birthday party. Stevie J and Mimi are throwing her this 10th birthday party. Everything is African themed, you know, so she has all these dancers, everybody's in these really cute costumes. And one thing that I wanted to highlight is Mimi looked really good. And not only the scene, but in the confessionals, like her hair was coiffed, she had this beautiful blue dress on. I'm like, okay, Mimi, I see you. I see you, you look good. Let's hope you stay that way. But you look good. Okay, so she's happy, you know, Kirk and Rashida come in and they talk about how, you know, the thing that I like about kids' parties is that they always bring like good energy. Everyone looks happy, everyone's co-parenting. We'll see how long this lasts. So now we gotta get to, okay, so what's really going on? What's going on? So Rashida asked Mimi, like, what is your view on, or like, how have you been talking to Bonnie's mother lately, AKA Jocelyn? And she's like, you know what? Despite all that we've been through, and God, they flash back through all of the shit, the Molly, the maid outfit that you got on, all the reunion fights, all of the drama that has happened between Mimi and Jocelyn over the years of this show. It makes me miss the show. I really hope, I don't think they've confirmed it, but I haven't really listened and looked for it. Is Jocelyn back on the show? Like, is she coming back? I really hope that she come back, because she is too funny. I know she's doing the Miami one, but I need her to come back to Atlanta, okay? But she says that everything's cool, child. So I'm like, all right, so we're gonna keep it pushing. And then we meet Kendra, which is, I don't know if she's been on the show for the past couple of seasons, because I have not been watching. So she's gonna be very new to me. Apparently she is Jock's fiance. Congratulations to you, baby girl. And she doesn't want kids. She's made that to be very well known, okay? So we meet her, and then now we go to the fact that Rashida wants to settle or schedule this 20th anniversary with her and Kirk. They're gonna have like a little get-together party or whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay. I still don't believe that y'all supposed to be together after all this time, but you know what? Love triumphs all. Next, and more updates about this cast, because again, I have not watched the season in a couple, or the show in a couple of seasons, I should say. Bambi and Scrappy are living together domestically, and they've had a child at some point. Okay. I see Bambi has new teeth. Good for you. So they, doing their morning thing, they living together, they having, a great time being parents. Okay, great. So Mama D comes in with her little assistant, and we learned that she's been having this alcoholism problem. She's been having, to work with this, have this assistant, be around her all the time, make sure she doesn't drink. And so she's talking about how she's been fighting this infection as a result of her alcoholism. She's had to have like 3 surgeries. She's on the way to having the 4th surgery. And she's just really in a low place right now, and she's really trying to get back on the right track to, be there for her family, her son, not stepdaughter, but her daughter-in-law and her grandson. So, she's trying to be on the right path. But, Scrappy don't trust that. And honestly, if I was, Scrappy, I would have done the same thing. He came with a breathalyzer, child. He said, okay, I know you say what you say, but people who are alcoholics, people who are, getting addicted to drugs or any sort of, addiction of that sort, it's hard to just be like, okay, yeah, I can take your word for it. Surely you're not using again. Surely I can believe you. No. If I'm a loving, family member, I'm gonna make sure and hold you accountable for the things that you actually say. So he took a breathalyzer and she showed up as 0%. So she's like, I want you to know that I'm taking this seriously. Because I love you, and you, as a family, I'm trying to be responsible. So everybody's giving her love. Everybody's, calling her, making her feel good, which is a very good, happy family moment. So another new characters to the show, at least new to me, is Ciara, and I believe her ex-husband or ex-boyfriend or ex-whatever, Shooter, I believe is his name. And so she gave us the backstory of how she's dealing with this court case on how let me make sure I get this, let me see if I can get this right. His baby mama of his oldest son, who passed away a couple years ago or a year ago too, where they're having this whole celebration at this bowling alley, which I thought was strange. So they're having this fun day at this bowling alley for the celebration of his son who passed away. And apparently at his son's funeral, there was his ex-baby mama, or the mother of the son who passed away, and her and Ciara got into a bit of a fisticuff situation, and it's alleged that she was pregnant at the time, and Ciara fought her, and now she's trying to press charges. I think that's it. And now she's facing these potential charges, or she's going to court for these charges, and she could be potentially locked away for up to 12 months in prison. Now, she called it prison and jail because there is a difference. Prison is a lot worse than jail, but I don't, whatever. She's just worried about being away from her kids, of course, just being a part of prison. Nobody just wants to enjoy prison. And the fact that it's going to be on her record, and it's just, she's very emotional about it. She doesn't want to be separated from her kids, from her family, which makes sense, especially if she didn't do it, because she's saying that she didn't do it. I don't know if they showed the footage of it, previous seasons of the funeral. They kind of, put some bits and pieces in there, but they didn't really show an altercation if there was one. So y'all let me know in the comments, is that actually something that happened? Because I feel like you can't really fight it if it's on camera or people know it to be true, you know what I mean? But be that as it may, she's approaching this gathering for her stepson's, remembrance. And, she had to pull her ex-baby, well, can't be like ex-baby daddy, but her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband aside to be like, look, I need you to come and testify on my behalf, okay? I need you to come and let the record show that bitch is lying. I did not beat her up. I did not fight her in whichever way whatever lie she's trying to spread, that was not me. And I need you to come and help me, spread the truth. Now, so Shooter's not really with it. He says in his confessional, like, look, Ciara knows my feelings about the law. She knows my feelings about being in the courtroom. Like, I'm not really trying to be there unless I'm in there myself. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, I'm not about to be there for this court. Like, I'm not a part of this situation. And I kind of feel like, on one hand, I feel like this would be a lot better, or if I had like the context of the altercation that happened, or at least the history of them as a couple. Because if she didn't do it, I would think that as the father of, at least one of her children, that you would not want your children to go without their mother to be in prison for 12 months. Okay? Even despite how you ever may feel about the court system, your personal feelings or whatever, if she is truly in danger of going to jail for something that you know that she did not do, I can't see why you wouldn't want to be there just because of your own feelings of the court system. Like, are you guilty? Like, what's really the problem here? So they have this whole thing going back and forth. She's emotional. She feels like she's not being supported. And he feels like she's being irrational, I guess. And I'm just like, okay, we're gonna have to see how this thing sort of plays itself out, because I don't have that particular history of them from watching past seasons. So I'm just gonna be watching from a non-biased standpoint, because I don't have like any reason to dislike either of the two up to this point, because I don't know them. But I'll be watching to see how this plays itself out. Okay, so one of the larger discussions that I think that can come from this episode is Jock and Kendra having a dispute about Jock should get a vasectomy because she doesn't want children, and he already has 8 children, I believe, at this point. So she's trying to pressure him into, getting this potential surgery. And he's kind of like, ever since I proposed to her, she has been, acting different, talking about prenups and insurance. And he's making it seem like she's just, changed into this completely different person. And Kendra and her confessor was like, look, it's not that I've changed. It's just that since we're going to get married and we're going to have a lot of things conjoined together, we're going to be responsible for each other, it only makes sense for us to talk about the things that are more serious, to talk about things that matter, to a couple. You want to know each other's health insurance. You want to have, what the plan is. Are we going to have children? Are we not going to have children? How are we going to prevent from having children? These aren't necessarily things that you talk about necessarily in the dating phase, especially if you don't know if you're serious with someone. So it made sense for her to want to bring these discussions up. So when they have this discussion about, having a vasectomy, and they go to the consultation, the doctor's kind of just telling him what the process is. Now, I know, like me, I'm very uncomfortable when the doctor's trying to, give you the specifics of how a surgery goes, talk about splitting your skin open, removing balls and burning ends, and you know what? It can make anybody relatively uneasy, so I don't blame Jock for that. However, I do have a problem with the toxic masculinity standpoint of, if you have a vasectomy, you're less of a man. And it's been this sort of mindset that if you are a man and you can't produce children, that somehow makes you less than. And that's just doesn't make any sense. To me, it just seems simple-minded. Like, just because you have this surgery does not make you any less of a man. And I feel like we have to sort of break down those barriers of toxic masculinity, of men always feeling like they have to prove themselves to other men, to prove themselves that they're a man if they don't have these traits. It's like, you have 8 children. You having a vasectomy is not the worst idea in the world. Unless you particularly plan on having more children. Now, one of the things that a lot of men will argue is that, what if I do decide I want to have more children later on in life? It's too late, and that's valid. But, that's something that you would just have to think of on your own, and not from a standpoint of, if I do it, I'm going to be less of a man. Like how when he was telling it to his friends, like Scrappy, who was trying to ask, like, am I less of a man if I have it? He's like, yes. I'm like, girl, Scrappy is one of the last few people that you need to be asking advice for about being what a real man is, because child. But anywho, so they're in this vasectomy consultation, and of course they have this battle about, well, I'm not really feeling this, like, why don't you do it? And, she's like, well, just I might, what if I get pregnant and blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like when couples have this kind of a conversation, it is hard to decide who should get the procedure done. because on the male side, the males can get a vasectomy, and on the female side, she can get her tubes tied. And it always feels like, at least from my perspective, because I'm not going to be in a, that type of relationship, but it always seems like we want our partner or the other person to be the one responsible for not contributing to the, chances of having a child, when we have the opportunity to do it just as ourselves. Like, if you're the woman, you have just as much of an opportunity to get your tubes tied. If you're so certain that you're going to be with this person and that you're so certain you're not going to have any more children, even no matter who it is that you're with, you can get your tubes tied. And on the flip end, if we're supposed to be in this relationship forever and I don't plan on having any more children, you already have 8 children. Do you plan on having any more children? No. Okay, so why can't you have the vasectomy? And what I was gonna say earlier is, I don't know if women view tube ties the same way that men view vasectomies. Like, do they view, like, if you choose not to have children, are they viewing you less of a woman? Do they view you as less than in any capacity? I'm interested to know. So if any women are out there, if you're watching, I know my demographic is mostly women anyway, so just let me know, like, do y'all feel the type of way about, other women having their tubes tied? Let me know. But I feel like this is a discussion that really just boils down to what works best for the couple involved. So the last thing that I want to talk about is this whole 20th anniversary situation. So Kirk and Rashida have their 20th anniversary situation, or their party. Still don't know why it's happening, but they're having it. And, their mom shows up, his dad shows up, Candy's there giving a speech, and everybody's happy and showcasing that they're in love and how their couple goals. Carly Red is there saying that she's going through stuff. She's being very vague about it, but I feel like people know because they've been watching the seasons, but I'm just like, what are you talking about? And they're just doing all this vague, elusive stuff to, I guess, is leading into the next episode. I don't know. But Carly's there, and everybody's having a good time, everybody's vibing, everybody's great. In comes Alexis Sky. Now, I remember Alexis Sky from, I want to say it was the past season of Atlanta that I watched. Has she been on any of the other 11 hip hops? I don't think so. Wasn't Alexis Sky on Hollywood? Because I feel like her and Nicki Baby were filming scenes together. Somebody tell me. But she comes with her friend with all the intent to fight Carly Red. And I'm thinking, okay, why is she trying to fight Carly Red? And then it actually gave us the whole breakdown. So basically, from my understanding, is that Carly Red is currently with a guy named Mo. And apparently Mo and Alexis used to date, but they kind of broke things off. And I guess Carly took Mo's phone while they were together. Maybe Alexis Scott was calling him. I don't know if they made that part particularly clear. But be that as it may, Carly took Mo's phone and told his mom that she was going to spit on her and her daughter. Now, for those of y'all that know, when you spit on someone, that is the utmost form of disrespect. Like, it really doesn't get much worse than that. I mean, of course you can, but like, if you just want to disrespect somebody without physically harming them, spitting is the worst that it can get, at least to me. So, and you can think of, as the viewpoint of Alexis Sky, somebody who not only is with the man that I used to be with. Now, I don't know how their dynamic worked, when I'm not sure. Maybe they'll reveal that later to me because I'm not watching the past seasons. That part doesn't even matter. If you threaten my mama, there's not really much need of an exchange of words. There's not a need for us to really talk much out. It's just bah, bah. So I understand where Alexis is coming from. However, that was not the time and the place. You do not show up, especially if you were uninvited, bitch. If you were not invited and you come in here with some bullshit, trying to fight on some stuff that ain't got nothing to do with me or my event. If Carly Red didn't whoop her ass, Rashida should have whooped her ass. Now, I'm not sure of Rashida's capability to whoop ass, but there was a time and place for you to do it. But I guess she wanted to be, the classy, demure route, and this is her 20th anniversary. She shouldn't really be fighting at her 20th anniversary. But then it's like, if somebody randomly comes in and starts stirring up shit, ruining my event, I'm gonna be pissed. So luckily, I guess Carly Red, they kind of spat it out a little bit. Of course, they got pulled away by security, child. But still, like, that was bullshit. Like, I would have wanted to wear you out, sister. But at the same time, I understand why you wanted to wear her out, because she threatened your mama. You know what I mean? I don't know, y'all. I feel like she should have found her in the parking lot, maybe, when the event was over. Don't do it during the event, when after everybody does kumbaya and sell this lovey-dovey shit about this relationship that child should that and ruin the whole vibe. We don't do that. So that was pretty much the episode, you guys, for everything I wanted to cover. It's just the first episode, so they're still trying to like lay out storylines and kind of get things together, but I am interested enough to keep watching. And hopefully you guys are here for the recaps and the reviews. If this is the first time seeing me, hey, how you doing? My name is Javar. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We do all sorts of crazy things over here. It's just whatever I feel like during the day, child. We talk about reality TV, we can talk about music, we can play games, and we can watch scary stories online. It's all here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you share this across all social medias if you are a fan of the show and or me and my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Jamar.
Washington.